having these conversations together. And I want to give them an opportunity that they may say hi, so that I may introduce today's topic. So welcome.
Thank you, Teacher Paul. Hello, viewers. Welcome to our Pathfinders show. My name is Stephen Kihara. I just want to welcome you to our show. Stay tuned. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Bonita Wanjao. I like to send a shout out to my dad, mom, and my sister. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Good evening, our viewer. I'm Jocelyn Kawira, and I'm a teacher and also a mentor for the young people. And I welcome you for our evening show.
Thank you so much for that brief introduction, and also saying hi to our viewers. And as I've said, as we continue with today's conversation, I would like to encourage you to continue leaving your comments on our page. That is the Happy Church Dream Center. And you can also share this with your friends. Invite your friends, that this conversation may be able to have an impact to many people. So feel free to engage us in a number of ways, and for sure be able to read some few comments and also answer any question that you might be having. So today, the topic that we'll be having a conversation about is about the effect of self-esteem on our teenagers, because this is a very important issue that each and every teenager need to understand as they go through these teen years. The issue of self-esteem, that the value that you attach to yourself, or the opinion that you hold about yourself, because it affects almost every aspect of your life. So by the end of this program, you'll be able to understand what is self-esteem, how is it important, and the effect it will have on your teenagers. And then you'll be able to understand the role of the parents in enhancing that, or ensuring that you take part in the development of positive self-esteem in your teenagers. And then maybe by the end of it, we shall be able to discuss the negative effect of having a low self-esteem. So if you have any question concerning that issue of self-esteem, you are free to leave that question or a comment or a contribution on their comments, and we'll be able to go through some of them, because this is a very important topic. It is so important that even if you go back to the Bible, Apostle Paul, in one of his letters to the Colossians, and allow me to read that verse, that is Colossians 3 and verse 21. I would request Mushoki to project it for us. The Bible says in Colossians 3:21, fathers, don't aggravate your children. If you do, they will become discouraged and quit trying. That fathers don't aggravate. Some other versions say don't provoke your children to anger. If you do, they'll become discouraged and quit trying. So as a parent, there are some things that you can do, especially to your teenagers, that they will discourage them, and they will make them not to quit, to make them not to have the courage to try new things in life. So it is that important that even Apostle Paul took time to advise the fathers. And in this case, we also want to include the fathers or even the guardians, that we understand which are some of those things that you might do to your teenagers and discourage them from trying new things in life, because this is a very important phase in their life. So many developmental changes are taking place, and so if they don't have the courage to try new things, then you realize that we may have teenagers who may not be able to be even innovative in future. So as we have this conversation today, it is important that all of us, we may understand this concept of self-esteem and how it affects our teenagers. So welcome, remain on board, and I believe by the end of it all, you shall have learned something. Now, to start us off, I want to pose a question to, let me start with Steve. And I know kuna hii lugha ambayo mnatumia wakati mwingine, unasema fulani, like a friend, as you having a conversation, unasema mtu fulani yeye anakuanga roho juu, ama yeye anajiamini. Do you have such kind of a...
Yeah.
So huyo mtu ambaye mnasema fulani anajiamini ama anakuanga roho juu, ni vitu gani huwa anafanya that you make that conclusion? And I don't even know whether some of your friends wanasemanga wewe unakuanga roho juu, maybe.
Okay, si tukisema ati kuna mtu ako roho juu, tuko tukimaanisha yani umse kuna venye anajiaminia, yani ako na effort yake enye hadi watu waseme kuna venye yeye anafanya, yeye hasikizagi wase, yeye anafanyaga venye anasikia akitaka.
Yes.
Yeah.
So akiamua kufanya kitu yeye anaifanya tu.
Yeah.
And Bonita, does the same happen even to girls? Ama hiyo inakuanga ni a phrase inatumiwa tu kwa maboys?
Iko everywhere.
So still even in school, like unaweza kusikia hiyo dem anakuanga roho juu ama uanga anajiamini. Na ni vitu gani hizo yeye anafanya ili like mconclude huyo mtu anakuanga roho juu?
Maybe unaweza pata ako very positive, looking on the other bright side, kuliko kuangalia hii negative side. Huwa umpati akicomplain sana sana.
Yes. So kitu yani hananga hiyo kusema siwezi fanya hii. Always is like Steve. Ni vitu kama hizi gani vingine wanafanya ili mconclude huyu boy anakuanga roho juu ama anajiamini?
Yeah. Naona saka hii time yenye tuko ya corona. Sasa kuna teens wengi wako wanafanya biz.
Yes.
Sasa mtu kaa huyo ni mtu anajiaminia.
Yes.
Anaaminia nguvu yake. Unajua kuna mtu huwezi expect akienda kufanya kazi sasa hii.
Yes.
Naona kuna mtu hadi anaenda anafanya kwa mijengo kazi. Jua venye anajiaminia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such things. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Now I want to bring in Tija Jocelyn as we roll on this conversation. So there's issue tunasema ya self-esteem. Is it a genetical issue? Is it something that is inborn, like personalities? We have personality traits. Something that there are people who are born with a certain personality trait. Now, when we come to the issue of self-esteem, it is categorized like with low self-esteem, maybe healthy self-esteem, or even higher self-esteem. Is it that there are people who are born with a particular state of self-esteem that they are low self-esteem, or can it be improved?
Okay, thank you so much, Teacher Paul. And thank you, Steve and Bonita, for your contribution. Yeah, let me say that as Steve and Bonita have said,
Yes.
the young people wanajua watu wa majuju, wanajua watu wale outgoing and all that.
Yeah.
And among them, they know who can represent them, because they can be able to identify who is who.
Yes.
But I would say that self-esteem, okay, let me say that is that ability for somebody to take over something.
Yes.
Bonita said that akiambiwa afanye kitu, yeye tu anaenda akataangi. Huyo ni mtu anasemanga, huyo ni mtu wa self-esteem. So what we call self-esteem is that ability of a person having a faith in their own, and believing in their ability, and having the courage to try even that which they have never met. And I will say this, people are not born with self-esteem.
Yes.
It's not like personality traits. But personality trait can affect the self-esteem. Although the major determinant of self-esteem is the environment, the upbringing of the child, right from when they are born.
Yes.
The experiences the child goes through right from when they are born
Yes.
determines the outcome of what now we will say a self-esteem. Self-esteem it's that ability of doing something on their own. But you see now with the small children, because of the decision-making aspects, they are not able to make that final decision to do something.
Yes.
And they are not able to reason that when I'm told, take this plate to that guest who is seated there, and my mother has assured me that there is anything else, as long as Mami has said you take them. So that child will move that way. But now, when it comes to teenagers, they have now grown and they can make decisions. they are also conscious of themselves.
Yes.
So that self-esteem, which was not so much manifested when they are young, it now manifests more.
Yes.
So self-esteem becomes more significant when children reach the teenage, when they are able to be on their own, to
Yes.
make decisions. This is the time they are also in schools at level where teachers want them to try things on their own.
Yes.
At lower classes, much of what they do is instruction,
Yes.
and they do it as a group. If it is about the poem,
Yes.
it is the teacher who picks the child,
Yes.
depending on personality, and also the self-esteem they have acquired from the environment they are growing in. But they are not conscious of that so much.
Yes.
But now when they reach this age of teenage, they are more conscious of it. So self-esteem is not something you say somebody is born with low self-esteem or high self-esteem. It is affected by environment. Upbringing can make somebody end up being a very low self-esteem. Environment, the comment from the people around you, the challenges somebody is going through can affect. That's why you find even in schools, when somebody does so well, and this person is from a challenging background, even the system recognizes this person has been able to rise above the environment, and they have been able to perform. Because that is somebody whose the environment was not very encouraging for them to be outgoing. But they rose above the environment. So the environment can affect your self-esteem. And the ones you receive from your immediate significant others. What I mean is somebody like your parent, somebody like your teacher, somebody like your pastor, somebody like your caretaker, even the neighbors, the comment they make on the person, and how significant that person is to this child, it can affect the self-esteem.
Oh. So thank you so much. So it is something that can be improved.
Yes.
From low self-esteem and to a healthy self-esteem.
Okay, let me say self-esteem, that ability is there inborn. But the environment can build it to be high self-esteem, or it can make it to be low self-esteem. So that ability to be outgoing is there. But the environment now determines. By the time somebody is of some substantial age, whereby we expect them to make some decision, has that esteem been made positive, or has it been made low? Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, if I may maybe continue engaging further. So, at what age is a parent supposed now to come in the developmental stages of up to where we have the teenagers?
Okay.
At what age now can we supposed to start working on it?
Okay. Teacher Paul, self-esteem start being developed from the minute the child arrives on this world. From that moment, that small thing looking at you, and you think it doesn't have any feelings. That small thing looking at you, and you think that it's not reasoning. That is when you start building self-esteem. For example, different stages demand different behavior from children. For example, you will find that there is the stage we call the oral stage, whereby the child derives pleasure from everything in the mouth. So whatever they do with the mouth is what they enjoy most. That is the very beginning, the 0 to 18 months. So everything they do with the mouth makes them happy. And you'll find that this child, when they are breastfeeding, they just decide to bite the mother on the breast. And now the mother pinches this child. You see, that biting, it was not evil intended. This child, that is the only place, we call it the oral stage. That is the place that the child feels so good when something is in the mouth. They are testing whether the teeth are about to come, and they are feeling something. So they want to find out, can I do something with my jaws? And now the mother pinches this child. You see, that already communicates something. The initiative part of this child has been degraded.
Yes.
Because the mother has beaten this child, amemtoa kwa nyonyo, amemwambia sita kunyonyesha tena, the child is crying and all that. So that already start affecting the self-esteem, because that was the initiative, part of it.
Yes.
So self-esteem building start from childhood, that small age. The next stage, we call it the anal stage, from around 18 to 3 years, 18 months to 3 years.
Yes.
So the child will derive a lot of pressure using the anal organs, either urinating or going to the toilet. This is where we train them, the potty and all that. And you'll find a child who is driving so much pleasure that when they are playing, when they feel like they want to relieve themselves, they sit on the sofa set and wet the seat. And the mother comes there with the slippers and beat this child so much. And you see this child, that is where she was driving a lot of pleasure from.
Yeah.
So these slippers has communicated to this child.
Yes.
You know, the child is like, wow, I thought this was good. And then I'm
Yeah.
being beaten on it.
So it's like those little kids, they know what they are doing when
They-
they are urinating on the.
They may not know what
As
they are
such.
doing, but they are the stage they are in.
Yes.
That is what is driving pleasure. They are driving pleasure from those
Yes.
activities.
Yes.
So the way you communicate the mistake, what you call you a mistake.
Yes.
You know, to me, when my baby bites my breast,
Yes.
this is a very, and very thankful child. I've struggled to come and breastfeed her or
Yes.
him, and the thanks ni ile ya kuniuma.
Yes.
Or now I have just on a Saturday, I have visitors in the afternoon. I've been cleaning the house, and then I go to the kitchen to get this baby some food, and she or he climbs on the sofa set to wet them. You see, now that to me is wrong.
Yes.
But this boy, that was where she was driving the pressure from. So the communication now is where now that is what start affecting the self-esteem.
Yes.
Because you'll find that as they grow up, that which they thought was good,
Yes.
they'll have question mark. Suppose I'm beaten when I do that which I enjoy most.
Yeah.
Then that brings down the self-esteem. Yes.
So even that early stage, that so it should be, for the parents, I think that these are an eye opener. Don't just wait when your kids are at the teenage years. That's now when you have to start developing this. Should start as early as when they are a few months old, and then you'll be able to continue on. Thank you so much for that very insightful information. Now, let me ask Bonita. Do you, like, whether especially in school, do you hold any leadership position? In
No.
a club or a class prefect? Okay. Steve, do you hold any leadership position? In
Yeah.
school?
I'm the chairman of Red Cross
At school?
Club, yeah.
Which other organization or club or group? So that's the main one.
Yeah.
So was it an elective position in the sense that uliappointiwa ama kulikuwa na uchaguzi?
Ilikuwaga election.
So kulikuwa na watu wengine, is like mlikuwa
wanachagua.
So finally where do uliappointiwa?
Yeah.
So when that was happening, when they were appointing who will lead this organization, within you, ulikuwa unataka kuchaguliwa ama ni vile sasa uliproposiwa enda ukaongoze this?
Okay, watu waliniproposia juu mimi nakuaga always active. Alafu kwa nini vitu zote zina happenigi. Kani cleaning, kani founder members, wote zote. Yeah.
So thank you so much. Bonita, umetuambia maybe you are not in any leadership position in school. Ni vile haujawahi pata opportunity ya kuchaguliwa kuongoza, ama this to do with leadership you're not into it so much?
Unajua kwetu si rahisi ukue kwa hizo positions. Mostly ni za form 3s na form 4s.
Yes. Na zile zimefika ile level ya class yenu?
Siwezi kuwa class prefect.
Huwezi kuwa class prefect. Hauwezi ukajitolea, I'll be the class prefect.
Stress.
So much stress. Wow. So thank you so much for those honest contributions. Now, so Teacher Jocelyn, maybe from what our teenagers have just said, so like, do we have like some indicators of teenager positive self-esteem?
Yes, we have the indicators for both.
Yes.
The positive and the negative. And I'll talk about the positive. Those people, they can even propose for something.
Yes.
Who has a positive self-esteem. Yeah, because he was proposed by the friends.
Yes.
Because somebody who has positive self-esteem, one thing is they're outgoing.
Yeah.
And they take responsibilities with a lot of ease.
Yeah.
They also are free to try new things. They don't fear the new things which are happening around them.
Yeah.
When something comes and it's there, somebody is required, they are ready to take up that responsibility. So I don't know, Bonita says here ataki kuwa class prefect in stress. So you know that mentality alone, even if somebody was to go to class and propose Bonita as the class prefect, I don't know, Bonita will definitely refuse by all means, because she has already blocked that. Yeah. So it tells you that Bonita, when it comes to the line of maybe leadership, she doesn't have that initiative to take over responsibility as a leader. Yeah. So that area of leadership, it's not. It's it's that one of say not my type, not my taste. Because of, you can hear the ones she's saying. She's saying stress. I don't know whether she has been once and then it was stressing. Bonita, have you ever been a leader?
Yeah, I have.
When? Primary?
Secondary too.
Secondary.
High school.
What happened?
It was very stressful. Unajua kusema kitu, kuna watu watapingana na wewe.
Yeah.
Unajua hujakuja kuwa prefect, umekuja kusoma. So
So for how long were you a leader? That was in Form 1 or Form 2?
Form 1.
Form 1. And you felt, no, this is not my type. Okay, so that is this now the personality in her. But I would categorize her as somebody who has self-esteem, positive. Do you know why? She had the courage to say no.
Yes.
People who have positive self-esteem, they can say no to a situation.
Yes.
Somebody who is very low in self-esteem, they can end up being misused. Because they will do anything which they are told to do. They are yes. They have never learned how to say no. And as I said, self-esteem is influenced by the parent. You see, when a parent does not give the child the autonomy, we call it the autonomy, to make decisions, they are always making decisions for them. At the end of it, this child will have very low self-esteem. They cannot face the cloud and say no. They cannot face even the class teacher, like in the case of Bonita, and go and tell teacher, me, I don't want to be the prefect. But when somebody has positive or high self-esteem, they can look at a situation, make decision, analyze the situation the way it is, and find out how much is it benefiting me. If they find it's not benefiting them, they can say no. Bonita says that she realized she went to school to study. So the people around them, around her she was reading, were not positive to her leadership. And she had that courage, that guts. That's somebody with high self-esteem.
That's true.
Yes.
Yes, so there are some of those things that you, as a parent, you can look at some of those indicators and realize whether your child has low self-esteem or that what we are referring to as the positive Self-esteem.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And the parents can contribute.
Yeah.
You see, most of the time, especially when you are bringing up a firstborn, let me take that example because I know most parents with the firstborns, they have issues. You know, you want this child to be happy, and it is their right to be happy. But this something I normally tell parents. In this world, there's the type of food that can only have taste with the salt. And there's the type of food that can only have taste with the sugar.
Yes.
But most parents want to sugarcoat their children in every meal. As in they think the salt is not tasty, so they don't want them to taste the salt. They don't want them to face the challenges of life.
Yes.
That is what I mean. So they want the sweet things. Anything that is bad, they would not let the child try. Including, maybe I know my child has a weakness in a certain area. Let's say they are not very good in music. So the child wants to join the singing class in the church. And I'll tell them, you will go and embarrass yourself there. You see that now I don't want the child to go and learn with the peers. You know, when they go with the peers, she or he is going to learn. And because it was the initiative, the teacher will improve. But I don't want my child to suffer the embarrassment because I'm comparing my child with another mother's child. So I see that other one is very good in singing. So I know mine will never be given the microphone. And I want her to feel at the top. So because I know she'll never be given the microphone, I tell her, don't go for that one. It's going to embarrass you. You're going to embarrass yourself. You see now that already, I'm only trying to sugarcoat her life or his life. I don't want her or him to taste the salt. And that is how parents influence the self-esteem of the children. When we are bringing them up, we don't want to expose them to both the challenges and the good part of life. We want to shield them from any challenge. So the child only knows the sweet part of life. But this sweet part of life will not continue forever. There will be that time when they have to face the other part of life. It affects their decisions. Teacher Paul, let me tell you, I've had some cases of somebody get married and she goes back to the mother to tell her, my husband anasema tupate watoto wawili. She can't make that decision with the husband because she has never learned autonomy of making decision. And as she grew up, every decision, everything she did, it was approved by the mother. So even the husband decision, unless the mother approves, the husband decision cannot work. And that is low self-esteem, which was influenced from childhood as the child was growing. Yes.
Yeah, so thank you so much, for that wonderful contribution. And I can see here on the comments we have Anne Kayu Wajau, that is Bonita's mother. She's saying that she is tuned. Thank you so much. We have Peter Jenga, that is Steve's dad. I can see that he is tuned in and they are listening. So thank you so much. Continue making your comments there. Tell us where you are watching us from, and we shall be able to read a few comments as we continue. Now, today, as we continue with the program, we are privileged to have one of our teenagers, because we want to continue giving them more opportunities to develop their talents, and as they nurture them. And she is Jacqueline. She is one of our teenagers in our church, and she is so much talented in the areas of music. And so we want to give her an opportunity that to bless us with one song. It's a worship song. So stay tuned and let us be blessed together. Thank you so much.
This is the air I breathe. Your This is my daily bread. Your very word spoken to me, and I'm lost without you. Oh, and I'm desperate for you. This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. Your only presence living in me. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. Your very word spoken to me, and I'm lost without you. Oh, and I'm desperate for you. Oh, and I'm lost without you. Oh, and I'm desperate for you. Oh, you are God, and we worship you. You are God, and we worship you. You are God, and we worship you. You are God, and we worship you, and I'm lost without you.
Wow. Welcome back. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. That is excellent. And you are going far. This is an international platform, and may God bless you so much for that and using that talent that God has given you, even to be a blessing to others. May God bless you so much. So thank you so much. Welcome to the program. And as we continue on, so I want to bring in Steve. And let me start with you. Now, unaweza kuwa pengine na an incident, pengine you went through, kitu ilikufanyikia, either especially at school, and maybe something happened, maybe a teacher alikufanyia, and ikakuacha ukiwa umesikia ukiwa very low.
Okay, mi kwangu story tu ni ile ile. Hiyo ndio kitu yenye mimi nimeishi kukumbuka.
Yeah.
After nimeekelewa makosa yenye sio yangu, kitu yenye hadi siwezi fikiria hadi kufanya.
Yes.
Sasa ikaniacha tu, yani tu niko chini, yani tu hadi nasema wa.
Yeah, or the one you shared with us last time,
Yeah.
ambayo kuna pesa ilikuwa imeibiwa,
Yeah.
then ikapatikana kwa box yako,
Kwa box ya
jacket,
rafiki yangu.
your jacket ilikuwa ni yako.
Pesa zikasemekana ni mimi ndo nili.
So
Yeah.
how did that thing affect you in the way express yourself?
Mi kutoka hiyo siku mi hadi tu kunyamaza tu.
Unaamua tu kunyamaza kwanza.
Mi hadi mtu aseme ati nimefanya kitu nanyamazia tu.
Hata kama
Juu hadi
unajua ndani
kubishana,
yako sio umefanya, utaji kubishana.
Juu sasa unaona unabishana bure. Na tu wenye hadi wanakusikiza washaamini.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Na ilifanyika when ulikuwa around which age?
Nilikuwaga class 5. Yeah.
Ulikuwa class 5.
Yeah.
Then sahi you in form 2? Form 3.
Yeah.
So from class 5 and now you are in form 3. But that still affect the way you express yourself.
Yeah.
Wow, so thank you so much for that. Bonita, do you have an incident pengine ilifanyika shuleni?
Mi sina.
Au hata yote? Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. So Teacher Jocelyn, now you've heard. Now let's maybe do on what Steve shared last time, and we have what he has said from class 5 and now he's in form 3. That incident still affects the way he expresses himself. So which are some of those things maybe parents or even teachers will do and then will affect the self-esteem of the teenagers?
Okay, let me start by acknowledging Steve.
Yes.
I think last time when he shared with us that story, I didn't think it was that deep. But the fact that he's repeating it again, and from class 5 to form 3, that means that wood is deep. I think you'll deal with it after the session, Steve. Yeah, so that it can come out. Because, Teacher Paul, what happens is that, you know, something so small, and it can ruin somebody's life. Let me give it in the line of teachers. I said I'm an academic mentor. And one of the things this COVID-19 stay-at-home period is that I've had an opportunity to have one-on-one with students from all over, national schools, from any type of school. And one thing I've noted is that most students, just a comment by the teacher, just a single comment, put them off such that they gave up anything good can come out of them. And they just decided to just sit down. After all, the teacher has written for me there, very poor, pull up your socks. And the child is like, how far should I pull up these socks? I've pulled them, I have pulled them, I do mathematics, I'm only told, pull up your socks. You know, anything. The child was getting 20. The teacher wrote there, you can do better. The child, went home, talked with the parent, they went for tuition, what. They came back next term, they got to 43. The teacher was like not satisfied because the teacher wanted the A. You can do better. Hey, the child went ahead, got to 57. The teacher never recognized this. So you see the child is like, what is good? What is good? And you see that communication, it may be even non-verbal. The teacher has not even talked to this child, but it is non-verbal, but it communicates a lot. So when the child picks that which is negative, if this child has not developed confidence in them, it can affect them. I've said I've interacted with so many learners this already. One of the learners I interacted with told me in January she went to a new school. And that evening, the teacher for mathematics went to teach them from 7 during prep. She went to a boarding school. And when she was asked the question, this is a newcomer in school. So she's being asked the question, and the girl was like, she took some time to think about what to say. I said teenagers, being one thing is that they don't want to say something that can evoke others to laugh at them. So they always weigh their words. And that is why parents may think teenagers are rude. They are not rude. They are too conscious, including of that single one they will tell you. So I believe this girl was now weighing, these are new people, this is a new teacher, this is a new environment, this is a new class, this is a new desk. You know, everything was new. So as she was thinking of what to say, the teacher said, hey, picked now on the student, the pupils who have been in school, and said, hey, tell the newcomer here, we answer questions very fast. We even newcomers here, they take long to catch up. So I hope you'll catch up. And you see this girl, no, that could be whatever, but I like the positive self-esteem in this girl. Because the girl told me that she decided to work hard and prove to them that the newcomers can perform. You know, that is positive self-esteem. Because if this girl didn't have the positive self-esteem, do you know this girl would never talk again in that class because of that comment. So the comment we do, the things which happen to us in life can affect us. So like, for example, now if the child starts going down for one reason or another, but I have noted that you find a girl or a boy went to a school with over 380 marks. This child is getting E or D minus in a extra county school or national school. You know, that is not normal. But when you dig, it happened from a certain point, they lost the direction. Either the teachers didn't bother much, the parents were so much on them, and they felt that they have got exhausted. So they are trying all their efforts. Nobody is noticing the small improvements. And above all, everybody is so overwhelmed with the performance, they are not concerned with helping this person pick up with the performance. They only want the outcome, but they are not helping on the way to the good result they want. So this person will get withdrawn, and they will never do anything. Steve, I said, has positive self-esteem because he's been able to overcome. I don't know, that is why, Steve, were you in a boarding school or a day school? Would you fear being in a boarding?
No.
Yeah. So Steve has a positive self-esteem. And I believe it must have started from even how the parents behaved that time. He was told he has stolen. The way the parents took it. You know, if the parent now every time started calling him a thief, you know, when everything is left, they even keep saying, let's lock the door, the thief is allowed. You see, now that would have communicated differently on Steve. In as much as it is there, it has not affected his personality, his esteem. It is still positive. Because I said esteem is there, that confidence expressing. So as you, whatever incidences you come across in life, either affect you positively, so you become a positively self-esteemed person, or they affect you negatively, then you become a negatively self-esteemed person, or what we call low self-esteem. So what people go through can affect them. And parents and teachers, we need to be very careful. Some of the things these young people will go through their own judgment, they may conclude that I'm not very good at one thing or another. The way you, the teacher or the parent, communicate the same information to the child, it either rubber stamps, I am not good, or it can revive something and make this child realize they can still make it. The ones you use. So you can either rubber stamp that low self-esteem, or you can revive the little which is there, and the child becomes more positive in life. Yes.
So thank you so much. So it is important for the parents to be careful the words they are using. Even when they are teenagers, they do a positive or maybe something that maybe did not please them. The words that they are using.
They should be very careful. And above all, like when you want a child to learn something, a child may not learn everything at a go. But the little things they learn builds their positive self-esteem. So like as the child grows up, you want them to know how to cook, you want them to know how to wash the house, how to wash clothes and all that. Why don't you do the part you think is more difficult for this child and let the child do the easy part? You see that now builds the confidence of this child, and as they grow up, they will try everything. Let me take for example, the child wants to prepare chapati, and you as a mother, you know the chapati, the outcome is not determined by putting the chapati on the pan. It is determined by the way you prepare the mixture. This child does not know how to prepare the mixture. Why don't you prepare the mixture for them for the first time? Then they cook, even if it doesn't have the shape, but it will be soft and it will have taste. You know that already people will enjoy the chapati because they are not eating the shape. They are eating the chapati itself. So the child will feel, wow, I can cook chapati and people enjoy. So that already builds the self-confidence. But now when you tell Bonita from the first go take the flour, mix it, whatever. Then she brings there some firewood of chapati. You are cutting it, it makes all the noise. Do you think Bonita will ever try to cook chapati again? She will never. So parents, we can also help. We do that which is difficult for the child as we develop their self-esteem, so that the outcome doesn't become so bad and it demoralizes them. So let's do the difficult part as we grow them up. Yes.
And then don't do everything for them.
No,
There's
don't
a way
do.
of helping them to develop this positive self-esteem.
Even that
Because,
which you are doing for them, do it together. So let's prepare the dough together today, and the other day, then the third day you prepare as I watch. Then the other day, I go away, you prepare. It becomes
because
a step.
if I can remember so well, I also personally I struggled with the issue of self-esteem when I was a teenager. I can remember that, and partly I can see it was contributed by, let me say, by my dad, because like most of the things is like he used to do it for me. He was a teacher, so he used to do like most of the things for me. Even some of the things I would feel, given a chance, I can do this, but he won't even to do that extra for. Yeah, and it affected me even when I went to high school. I remember I was good in chemistry and biology, but because I never wanted to take like the leadership roles, I would at times when I'm like during an exam, I would ensure that I will not be the first one. Yes, I know how to answer like almost every question. There are some cards I would do and then I would get everything.
Yes.
But sometimes I would deliberately
Yes.
and give the wrong answers to some questions so that I may not be the first
You're
one.
not the first
So that
one.
I may not go to represent our school, maybe in Science Congress and those.
Congress and all
Yes,
that.
and this is a time now I realize I think I had an issue with the self-esteem.
Yes.
So I think what you're saying is true. The parents have a very great role.
Yeah, the
Play.
parent want perfection
Yes.
from their children. And most of us parents, we want our children to compensate maybe that which we didn't. So that perfection bit of your father, it didn't allow you to do it your own way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If Bonita can prepare the dough and the chapati doesn't come out round, the fact is that the stomach will not know it is not round. So the perfection bit, let it not always be there, because it can affect the development of self-esteem in the child. Yes, and you lose a lot in life. Because like now I know you lost many, you would have many certificates. Those certificates would be contributing to your CV and all that. But you wrote wrong because you didn't want to take the lead. And the thing is, you had never been used to taking the lead. Your father was always in front of you. He never allowed you to lead the way. He learned the way for you until too late. So the challenge is parents. How do we know what step do I keep on? Do I come out? And definitely from childhood I'm leading. Now confusion comes. Some lead too far until they notice it is too late. They check out of the way and disappear. So the child remains lost. The best thing is, as the child grows, there are some moments you check off, you watch from the side, then you come in. You watch from the side, you come in. So the the distance where the child leans goes becoming longer and longer. That transition is very healthy. Yes.
So thank you so much. So we need to read a few comments, and you can see Stephen Wanjao, he's tuned in from Seattle. We have John Mutua tuned in from Kahawa West. Thank you so much for your comments. As we almost winding up because I can see Mushoki, our timekeeper, is telling us we should be winding up. Now, as we come to the close of today's program, Bonita, do you have ever participated in some of those activities, like in school, do things to do with Science Congress, or any activity that you are participating with, even at different school, we are meeting together? Have you ever participated in any?
Yeah, I have.
Like what?
Drama. I wrote a script for them.
Or you wrote you were not acting, but you just wrote a
Inakuanga kwa sidelines.
Yeah. You behind the scenes, and so you've never, like those ones that you're supposed to go and represent your school or even your class. Maybe presenting something in class.
Labda behind the scenes.
No, sio pale mbele. Okay.
Eh.
Okay. Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like.
Ka kuna scouts nishaikuwa kwa representations ya founder members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nyeri or
Red Cross pia
Uh-huh.
shaikuwa kwa functions za cleaning niki represent shule.
Okay. And maybe if I bring back that issue of that teacher, that in your story that you shared with us.
Yeah.
Alikuwa anafundisha anything, any subject?
Okay, that teacher was a director.
Okay.
Lakini alikuwa anafunza shule ingine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. So maybe as we wind up, so the issue of self-esteem, maybe from teacher Jocelyn, maybe help us to understand this. How does that maybe affect the performance of the students now, because mainly they are students, even if they are teenagers, mainly they are students. How will that affect the way they perform, the way they interact with other students at school when they have the low self-esteem?
Thank you so much, Teacher Paul. And before I do that, I want to recognize the people watching us. You have Stella and Duni. You must be watching us from somewhere in America. Justa Moroge, this is a presenter with the Muga FM. We have John Albert, Yvonne Orlando, that's a lecturer at Nairobi University. We have MCJ. We have Josephine Washuri, the principal Ndeya Technical. We have Apostle Moredi Nyaga. Is here at Kayore. We have John Gekandi, Nancy Sitima, Maureen Anders, that's my niece from Chuka. We have Samu Moiroli. We have Abraham Kanata, he's a pastor in Meru. Patrick Murege, Martin Kibugi, thank you so much for joining us and moving with us as we move on. And most of these people are working with young people, and I want to believe they are benefiting a lot. Yeah. That's why they are watching with us. And as I conclude, I will say that self-esteem definitely will affect the academic performance of a person. It will also affect your future career. Like for your case, Teacher Paul, by you always not wanting to write the correct answers, I know if we follow it, it affected your final grade.
Yeah.
You would have scored even higher than that. But you scored average because that is where you wanted for your own reasons, which were affected by your esteem. So, self-esteem can affect performance. I've had quite a number of principals call me, and they tell me these girls, these boys, especially the girls, tells me their self-esteem is so low. Teachers are complaining in class. You see, when people don't want to answer questions, people don't want to ask teachers questions, the teacher gets lost. And if you follow it, is somebody is not outspoken. You can imagine you go to a class where everybody doesn't want to talk, and you are the teacher. You cannot tell whether you are delivering or not. So the teacher just sits there, and the teacher can say, and let me say I've been a teacher for around 24 years now. Much of what I do in class is triggered by my students. If my students are not outgoing, sometimes I'll say what I want to say in the notes and walk out. But a class which is outgoing, they'll ask me even questions beyond what I had prepared for. So the outcome is more impactful because I'll give them more materials. As a teacher, sometimes I may be limited by the time. But if a class is highly self-esteemed, they'll bombard me with so many questions. At the end of it, they'll be beneficiaries. Because those questions, when they ask those extra information, it helps them even more answering the questions. It helps them even more in life situations. So self-esteem can impact so much on the person's personality. Let me give you this example as I finish. I happen to have schooled from a very local primary school. We are schooling here with Apostle Moredi Nyaga there. He was also my schoolmate in a very local school back in the village. And I did well from that school. Then I went to Alliance Girls. But my self-esteem was so much affected through that transition. You know, in primary, everybody in the zone knew the Kawera would always be number one. We used to do zonal exams. And I would give the number 2 a big rage. So when we go for sports, everybody wanted to see this Kawera, who is always performing from Kiangon Primary. Now when I went to Alliance Girls, I met people from, some of them, they would get even air ticket for their mini term of 3 days to go outside the country. So I got confused. And in the process, my self-esteem went down because even talking was not I was not fluent. Like I remember, throughout my life in Alliance Girls, I never answered questions during English lessons. Because the first week of Form 1, I was told to read a passage, and I pronounced malaria in a Khmer way, and everybody laughed in class. So I never participated in that English lesson for the 4 years. So you can see that already affected me so much. And it has taken time for me to come out of it and go public. But it has taken time. So self-esteem can affect you. It can affect your career. It can affect your life. It can affect your development. Anything. Self-esteem, even in business, it can affect you in all ways. Yes.
Thank you so much. And what you're saying is true because even in my situation, it affected so much. Even when I went to campus, so there are so many things that before I do them, I would first take time before I make a decision as to take even a leadership position. And now I also got an opportunity to go and teach high school for at least you said over 20 years, but I taught for like 5 years. And I always ensured that I worked so hard to ensure that I build the confidence and the self-esteem in the teachers and in the students that I was able to come across, to encounter, because I remembered what I went through. And I didn't want to do something that may affect in a negative way the esteem of the students that I was teaching. And they can attest to that because I was able to help most of them improve and perform extremely very well. So this is a very important issue that everyone need to understand what is self-esteem and how it can affect, especially the negative side of it. So thank you so much for your contributions and for all those people who are following us and making some comments. And as we wind up, because I think our time is so much spent, I want to give Steve and Bonita just to maybe say one or two things you've learned today, and maybe a comment as we wind up.
Okay, thank you Teacher Paul. Okay, chenye mimi leo nimesoma ni eti self-esteem inaweza kuwa influenced positively ama negatively.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Bonita.
What I've learned today ni self-esteem can affect you in all the areas.
All the
Studies, life, career, business.
Yes. So it's something that you need to work on as early as now. So thank you so much. So, Sister Jocelyn.
Okay. I think as we wind up on this concept of self-esteem, even as a parent, let me say I've been learning a lot. And the one thing I've learned is that self-esteem, as you are saying, can affect the academic performance of a child. And that one, I've seen it practically. I've gone to schools, and I'm given a student who teachers have given up on this child. This child is at E constantly. Maybe from Form 2, Form 3, they have been at E. And I'm given this child to just do some mentorship. I don't go to class with this child. I don't teach them mathematics or chemistry or whatever. I just build their self-esteem. And these children end up getting university grades. So self-esteem can affect the academics of a person, and the message I have is you can influence the self-esteem of your child positively through your behavior, through your comments, and also through the activities you engage them in. If you engage them in very challenging activities, the child will feel so much lost and so much hopeless, and their self-esteem will go down. So even as we engage them in activities as they grow up, let us be very careful of age-appropriate activities. That which a child in a certain age can do, don't do for them. And that which they cannot do, show them the difficult part to do for them as they learn. Yes.
So thank you so much. And if you do all those things, the parents, they play their part, and the teenager, they play their part, you'll find that you'll be able to improve the self-worth, that value that you places on yourself, and it's what we basically refer to as the self-esteem. So thank you so much for your time, then spending time to follow our conversation. I believe you have learned something. Either you are a teenager, if you are a parent or a guardian, that will be able to share the same information with the teenagers that God has given within your circle. So we shall continue doing this even next week by the grace of God. And I want to appreciate Mushoki, who is on the other side, is controlling the cameras to ensuring that this program goes on air. Thank you so much for what you have been doing, and John on the technical side. May God bless you so much. Have a wonderful evening, and let's meet next week by the grace of God.